Welcome to In Focus. I'm your host, Yesenia Taveras. John Weatherspoon is the founder and creator of NBAPanel, a podcast that actually reaches to every NBA fan. And he joins us today to talk to us a little bit about entrepreneurship, his journey with NBAPanel, and all things John.
How you doing?
This is the first time that he's actually on the other side.
Yes, this is kind of different. We want to be asking the questions, so
Right.
it's cool though. I like it.
Well, welcome to In Focus. It's definitely a pleasure to have you here on the show.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yes. So let's talk a little bit about who you are as a person first. For like those who don't know anything about John Weatherspoon, before we get to NBAPanel and all the numerous professional athletes you've been able to interview in your podcast, talk to us a little bit about who you are.
Well, I'm a Jersey native, quiet, normally not an outgoing person, but doing this venture, it changed everything because I'm constantly in front of cameras and everything, interviewing people on the phone all the time. Because I'm really quiet, but this opened my eyes and took me out of my comfort zone.
Okay. So how did all this come about for you? I know you're a big fan of NBA. Who doesn't love basketball, right? But you founded NBAPanel, and is there something in our community that you saw was kind of missing, that you wanted to go ahead and fill that niche market? How did this all come about? Take us to the journey in regards of like you being an entrepreneur, starting 080 Productions. Like, talk to us, how did you get into this?
Well, the podcast came about because I got the idea, but I wanted something behind it. So I created 080 Productions in order to push the show. So the NBAPanel is my first production from my production company, 080 Productions.
And now, John, did you go to school for this, or is this kind of a passion that you fell into?
This was a passion I fell into because I always loved the NBA ever since I was smaller. So my favorite team was the Bulls when Michael Jordan was there, and I just loved the NBA, watch it all the time. And I figured like I could make a show, and then just it took off.
Okay, so talk to us about the actual NBAPanel in this show. What do we look forward to seeing? What is it all about? Like, for example, if one doesn't even know anything about NBA, is there some content there too that they can actually relate to for those who do love the sport?
Yeah, all the NBAPanel social sites have highlights of games, videos. The NBAPanel website itself has all my blog entries from all the media covers I've done, from the Big Three, Basketball Hall of Fame, Team USA Basketball. So like it's been all over. It's like I met a lot of people. Like that's Team USA Basketball. I want to cover that. A U19 camp. I met John Calipari. That was crazy. Like when I started it, I wanted to go to this point, but seeing it unfold, like it's meant to happen.
And talk to us about this moment. Like, how did this happen? How did you actually get in there with media credentials, not having a broadcast journalism degree or radio degree production? Like, talk to us about this moment, how you were able to get yourself in here.
This actually happened, I believe, 6 months after I created the NBAPanel, which is kind of crazy outside looking in. But I worked so hard behind the scenes, it's like making network connections and everything, connecting with people. So that's how it happened.
Okay.
But this moment right here, he was done talking and I was able to do a one-on-one interview with him. So that's how that happened. He's a cool person.
Okay. And talk to us a little bit about this moment.
This is Danny Manning. Also, I met at Team USA minicamp. Professional ex-NBA player. So it was cool meeting him too.
And so what do you do, like, once you meet them? Are you actually sitting down with your production crew there and doing your interviews there? Do you invite them on just via online?
Yeah, some I interview them there, and some we exchange numbers, and I get them on the podcast itself.
Oh, okay.
So I have a lot of connections over the last 2 years.
And so you've been able to actually work with the Delaware Bluecoats. That was kind of your start in this whole journey.
Yes.
Through Delaware's G League. Talk to us a little bit about that. How did that happen for you?
Yes, the Bluecoats, I'll always be thankful to them because that was the first team I reached out to for media credentials for the NBAPanel, and they welcomed me with open arms. And since then, over the last 2 years, I've met and made a lot of connections with like Alex Yao, Matt Lilly, the GM. They have a great organization, and their move from the Bob Carpenter Center over to the Sixers Fair House was a good move because you can tell by the attendance. Being firsthand covering them for 2 years, the attendance is night and day. But you can see like it's almost full and the game didn't start yet.
Right.
Back at the Bob Carpenter Center, it was like scarce like every night.
Okay.
But anyone in the Delaware area or not Delaware area, you should come out and check out a game because it's only going to get bigger and better.
That's right. And so what did the Delaware Bluecoats do for you in your career?
It helped me out a lot. Like I said, it gave me my first media exposure, interviewing high-profile players. I was able to interview a lot of players that goes up and down
Okay.
between the leagues. It was different.
And what does this mean for someone like you to actually have a G League team right here in Delaware?
It's cool. It's great. I mean, like you can go out, see your professional players. Like the NBA has call-ups, and sometimes they send their players down to the G to get exposure and extra practice. So you can see those players there before they get called back up. And it's great for the family also. Every game, the Bluecoats have like activities for the kids to come out. So if they don't want to watch the game, they can go play while you watch the game. It's a good family experience.
Okay.
It
And you also
definitely
connect
is.
with other photographers here in the community as well?
Yeah, so able to connect with Saquon Stimson on your staff. Cool
That's
guy,
right.
cool.
Are you guys able to bounce off of each other and learn from one another as well while you're actually there at the game?
Definitely.
How important is that to have like a sense of community within your own career and being able to cover these kind of games?
You have to. I mean, once you get in a certain position, to get it back, I think you should. I can say honestly right now, the NBA panel has leveled out and it's established to where I can start building. So I'm in the midst of creating another show called NFL Panel, where I'm going to have I'm going to have a panel of people I'm going to pick, and they're going to be the panel members. I'm just going to do the producing and everything. So they're going to be in position to do media coverage, meet other players, meet their favorite players. Like I started the media coverage for the NFL panel, and I was able to meet my favorite player, Michael Vick, after like a month of creating the show, which is crazy because there's a lot of hard work being put behind it.
And a lot of people don't know you are the actual picture of entrepreneurship, because one may think NBA panel is your full-time job and this is what you're doing day in and day out, eat, breathing, and sleeping this thing, but you're really not. You're actually doing it on a part-time basis. So talk to us a little bit about how you've been able to balance your work life with your passion. They always say, make sure you do what you love to do on a part-time basis, until it becomes full-time.
Yes.
And that's exactly what you're doing. You're like the true version of entrepreneurship and living your own dream. So talk to us a little bit about this.
Yeah, this picture was taken at the Lacroix Center. I was covering Temple University. I covered D1 basketball also. But a lot of people outside looking in, it's like he's doing a lot. It's not easy because I'm working a 9 to 5 on top of doing this. Whatever spare time I have, I'm either in Philly covering the basketball game or in New York. I was able to cover a basketball game in New York recently, my first time at Madison Square Garden. That was big for me, like personally, like that's like the mecca of basketball. But it's not easy doing this. It takes a lot of hard work and concentration.
But every time I think of like having a dream and writing it down and actually making sure it comes to fruition, like you're doing that. You're getting into these games that most people who have college degrees don't even really get into.
Yes.
And you've kindly, if I can say, paved your own way and met people of the likes like the Saquon Stimsons and people who have been doing this for many years and are very high into their career. Talk to us a little bit about that angle of just being like a minority in this industry, being able to be successful even on a part-time basis.
Yeah, that part's not easy either, but I don't pay it any mind because like there's certain places I've gone to, I got like second looks like, how did he get in? Like if I don't dress like this or dress casual, if I dress like I'm going to play like jean shorts or a shirt, if I cover something, I get like double looks like, where's your ID at or something like that. So but it's definitely a lot of people doing a lot of things. Like from my area itself, there's a Saquon Gillette. He's written a book. My friend Brian Isley, who also was a co-host on my show, but he walked away. So now it's just me.
Okay.
So he's about to play the Apollo Theater. He's a comedian. So there's a lot of people like everywhere in the New Jersey community, my community locally, Salem, New Jersey.
Okay.
Also in here in Wilmington doing a lot of things, definitely.
That's amazing. Let's talk a little bit about like the content when you do interview these professional NBA players or college players. Like, how do you get the story across that you really want to get across to your viewership?
Oh yeah, like this is Tracy McGrady, I met at the Basketball Hall of Fame. This is crazy. This is a crazy story because we were interviewing him, and I asked him a question. What do you think about J.R. Smith said anybody can get could win a championship, and he said that J.R. Smith is crazy for saying that. So like I say no lie, like 15 minutes later, it went viral. The question I asked went viral. But when you listen to the interview, you can tell it's me asking the question.
Okay.
But other websites didn't put me as a credit.
Give you your credits.
But now that the show has grown since this point, people know that it was me to ask the question.
And what kind of questions do you ask? What kind of content? Is there something in particular that you really want to share with your viewers when they're listening to any athlete you're interviewing? Is it about not only their athletic skills, but also their journey as well? Like, talk to us a little bit about your content and your flow and how you make NBA panel work.
Well, first I do research on them, of course, as you're supposed to do. And I ask them questions about what they like to do, like their past, anything they want to talk about. And then I'll get into the basketball aspect of it. Ask them like if they had a favorite year that they played, a favorite team they were on, I'll ask them that, or I'll guide the interview to that.
And how do you feel NBA panel actually helps our community, not only on the professional side, but just like what kind of impact that it has with us here in Delaware?
I have personal friends and some new friends I've met that follow the NBA panel and said they like it, they're proud of what I'm doing, which is a compliment to me because I'm really working hard. So it is a big deal when someone I don't know especially gives me a compliment.
Okay.
So
and where are you hoping that this journey takes you?
I want the NBA panel to be broadcasted nationwide. It's listened to nationwide right now,
Okay.
but I'm in the process of getting on a platform where it's televised. So that's the next step.
Okay. And anything that you could share with us in regards to just like, do you have any aspirations of giving back? I mean, I know it's a startup, it's your business, it's your baby,
Yeah.
but do you ever work with like other young interns or anyone who's probably watching that is looking up to you and like, oh my God, like he's really making this happen, and I wonder how I can like fill those shoes?
That biggest motivator would be my son, because he told me his favorite basketball player was D'Angelo Russell, and I took him with me and he met D'Angelo Russell. So he's looking up to me, and that's one of my biggest motivating factors right there.
Okay. And do you hoping to like one day open up the doors to people like your son and other youth in our community?
Definitely. In
Okay.
Jersey and in Delaware, all over.
Okay. Awesome.
All over.
And were there any similarities? I know you're from Jersey, but is there any similarities that you found between that city and Wilmington, Delaware, and how you've been able to work through the two?
Yeah, I mean, everywhere you go, both gets a bad rap, like it's a bad area and there's nothing there. But wherever you go, something can happen.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, being from Salem in that area and coming to Wilmington, like there's bad areas everywhere, but you can overcome that. There's good people everywhere you go.
And what brought you to Delaware and to have NBA panel here?
Well, I mean, covering the Bluecoats, like I said, it's a great experience. It's a great experience.
Awesome. Well, anything else you'd like to share with us before we go, John?
I must want to say, if you have a dream or anything, like if it's something you want to do, just go ahead and do it. Like the first step is to take the first step. Once you do that, the rest will fall into place. You're going to have obstacles that get in your way, but if you're really passionate about it, anything is possible. Like if you told me I'll be sitting here with you right now, 2 years ago, I wouldn't have believed it.
That's
But
right.
I'm just so passionate about what I love doing. And like I said, I'm pushing this to be full time, and it's going to happen.
It's going to happen because you've
It's
already
gonna
made the
happen.
steps. And as we can see through all the photos, you've been able to make it happen. And right now we only have NBA panel, but in the future, we're going to have NFL too as well.
Definitely.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on all your success. We look forward to seeing you in the community and covering all these great games as well. And congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Yes, our pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks.
And on behalf of all of us here at WITN 22, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you for watching this episode of In Focus. I've been your host, Yesenia Taveras.